Guys, this is Crafty Cat. Welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. We're here with a brand new type of painting video for the channel. I'm going to be following a video by Aham Art on how to do this rose. And here I'm showing you some of the paintbrushes that I am planning on using. They're the big square paintings for doing the background. There's a smaller square painting for getting closer to the rose. And these are Artist Loft paintbrushes that I got at Michael's. So these are the kind of paints I'm going to be using. This is Mart paint. You've seen me unbox these on the channel. They're very nice acrylic paints. They're pretty thick. They're much thicker than the craft paints that you get, say, at the dollar store. And I've already sketched the drawing of the rose on this little dollar store canvas board that costs, I think, $1.25. So this is a square canvas board. I can't remember the size right now. And that is the plate that I'm going to be mixing my paints on. So I am trying to tell you what I did after the fact because there was just way too much background noise. So I had to mute the actual audio of this recording because you could hear my family arguing in the background and cars going by and people on the street arguing. And then my neighbor came over and there was just a lot of noise. So here's another brush that I just quickly showed you. I wasn't sure if I was going to use the fan brush or not. And I will be at some points cutting my voice out and then making this go faster because this would take too long otherwise. So I will probably be speeding up a lot of the painting. But at this point, I'm just getting set up and I'm showing you my other brushes. I've got my new tripod with the new ring light set up. That's what's taking this video. And I'm really liking the new tripod with the ring light. It holds my camera really nicely. So you can see the sketch. I had to erase and resketch a lot of spots. So I use a mechanical pencil here, but the first time I tried this, I did try this before. It came out nicer when I used a regular sketch pencil. It was easier to erase than the mechanical pencil. I think it was just a lighter pencil, the HB pencil. And also, when I practiced this, I was using watercolor paper that I got at the dollar store. So that dried really fast. So this was a lot nicer painting on the canvas board. So I am new to this. I'm not really an artist. So this is not a tutorial. This is just, I thought you might like to see what I was doing. Alright, so I'm just getting my other equipment ready, and then I think we're just going to jump right in, okay? And I'll speed this up for you. Okay, so I have sped this video up significantly, so you don't have to watch me paint in every step. And this should make it go a lot faster. So here I am putting down the background. I've got this really pretty bluish green color from the Mart set, and you can see how beautifully it covers. And I'm using a big square brush to cover as much as I can. And then I switch to a smaller brush eventually to get closer to the rose because I don't want to cover too much. And I'm just going over and trying to get some of the lines out or to try to decide whether I want the lines in or not. Now I'm adding some yellow and mixing to a lighter green, and I'm really liking how that looks. And this is a really nice paint. It would be nicer if I didn't accidentally put my arm down into it all the time, but I do every time. I'm a newbie, you guys. I am so new at this, but I'm enjoying it so much. I really, really do enjoy it a lot. So now before I started painting, I did prepare this canvas with some, I don't know how to pronounce whether it's gesso or gesso. It's spelled Gesso. So it's like a primer that makes your paint go on nicer. And I do have some additive that can make the paint dry more slowly, but I didn't use it this time. I thought I'm going to just try to paint faster so it doesn't dry. Because when I did my test, I did this whole thing on acrylic paper as a test, and that paint just dried so quickly, and it was really hard to blend anything. So I thought I need to learn how to go faster if I want to work with acrylics, which I do. So I didn't go as fast as you're seeing in this video though. This is like sped up 5 times. But as you can see, I'm adding more yellow to make more of that light green. And I really need to get better brushes. These are too light. So I'm taking a look at the background, and now I think I'm going to show you my practice run. This is the one that I did on dollar store watercolor paper. Came out really nice considering it was on dollar store watercolor paper, but I wanted to try it on a proper canvas panel, which is why I redid it. And also, I did want to practice it before I tried doing one for my video. I'm really nervous. I am so new to this. I've only done one other um, canvas acrylic painting, plus all of those little ornaments that I did for Christmas, and that's it, really. So here I'm just outlining everything in a mixture of red and blue. So that color that looks black is not really black, it's like a deep purple. So that is going to be my shadow color. So this is going really fast because it took me so long, you guys, and it would be boring for you to watch me painstakingly cover everything. But here I'm just going through where I think there would be shadows underneath the petals and in between the petals. So I'm just adding as much of that shadow color as I think it needs to. At this point, I'm not actually following the video from Aham. I did follow it step by step for my test when I did the watercolor one, like on watercolor paper. I followed that step by step. But at this point, I'm just looking at the end picture that he had at the end. So I've got that up on my iPad, and I have my watercolor picture that I'm also using. It's not watercolor. I don't know why I keep calling that. It's an acrylic painting on watercolor paper. So I'm looking at those two things as my reference, but I'm not actually following the tutorial because I had already followed the tutorial, and I thought that I remembered enough of it that I didn't need to keep refollowing it because it was just a very quick tutorial, and I'm very slow, and I had to keep pausing it a million times. So at this point, I'm just doing it on my own from memory. Like, it was never on my own. I'm using Aham's beautiful art as a reference, and I did follow the tutorial, and the tutorial is awesome. If you want to learn acrylic painting, I highly suggest Aham art for tutorials because they're quick tutorials, so you can watch them several times and get the idea of what you need to do. So now I'm going over the shadow colors in red, in a deeper red. I'm just having a sip of water, and in between I'm going in with a lighter red. So right now I'm using two shades of red, a crimson red and a deeper red. So you can see the red in the middle is lighter and the red around the edges is darker. Plus it's darker wherever I went over with the purple. And that was I'm looking right now just for light and dark. So for this whole thing, I'm trying to train my eye to look at light and dark, the contrast between light and dark and how it works. And just also getting used to using the brushes. I'm not used to using paint brushes. This is all new to me. I'm getting used to the paint, getting used to the canvas. Well, it's a canvas board actually. But I really love it. It's so nice. Now I had hoped to have gotten this, I wanted to get this done in time for Valentine's Day to give it as a instead of a card to my mom, but I was like a day late by the time I finished this, but she still really liked it. So I'm using a smaller brush to get into those smaller spots, and in a lot of cases I'm painting right over the dark lines because they're there just for me to show where the darkness needs to be. So I do go over them a lot with the reds to try to make them not quite so comic booky. So now I'm just going in with the lighter and the darker colors. See, I'm going darker where I think there should be shadow. And using the reference photos and Aham's finished painting as reference. And I really am trying to make my strokes look petal-like at this point, instead of just going in every which way. So I'm trying to make sure that as I'm painting, I'm keeping in mind these are rose petals, and they're supposed to look softer. So those are the things I was trying to keep in my mind. Darkness, light, and softness, really. And contrast. I was looking for contrast as well. So every once in a while I pick it up to get a better angle, and now I'm adding a pink color. where I mix the light crimson red with white to get a pink. And here I'm adding shading, and then I'm going back with the red over the pink just to blend it better. And I do that several times just to go for the highlights. So I go in with the pink and then I go over it again with the red. And now I'm trying to blend with my fan brush, but my fan brush is too soft. I need to go out and buy some bristle brushes that are harder. I find these brushes are much too soft. They don't push the paint around as well as I would like. So I'm just doing a little bit more blending. And I'm using a small brushes too. And now we are going in for the stem. So I'm just lightly going in with a darker green where I want my stem and my leaves to go. And I'm just kind of sketching them in with my small brush. I think that's either a liner brush or a very small round brush. Now, I don't really understand my brushes yet, you guys, because I'm so new. And to me, I don't understand why round brushes are called round brushes because they're pointy at the end. But whatever. And I guess because they're so small, they just look like liner brushes. Like when I see a bigger, rounder brush, I can see why, because they are round at the base where they're connected to that gold colored thing. But at the ends, they're always pointy. So now I'm just going in with another stem. I'm adding a leaf that's going to a little tiny leaf that's going to hide behind the rose. And I think I want another leaf here. And I move them around and make them bigger as I go. I spent, I think, more time on the leaves than the rose. So I'm just sketching in another one. And another leaf. And I think I want one more, because I want it to kind of balance that other one. The one on the far right that's up high, I had to add that because I had a spot of green that I dripped on the canvas and I couldn't get rid of it. So I thought I'm going to have to cover that with a leaf. But that's okay. So now that I did the lighter green, I'm going in with darker green. And like I did with the rose, I'm basically looking for dark and light, shadow and highlight. So, and I'm also trying to shape the rose and make it, not the rose, the leaves, and make them more leaf-like. So they'll just see me going in constantly with darker and lighter colors and just trying to outline them. And I have to add some jagged edges to the leaf still too, but I haven't done that yet because they don't have smooth edges. But it really makes a difference when you add the dark and the light and the midtones. And I'm still learning. There's like so much I need to learn. If anyone has any tips for me, please, by all means, give them to me. Now, I jumped ahead again because I did take so long on the leaves, and I'm still going to take long on the leaves, but you can see they're starting to look a little bit more leaf-like, and I'm adding more highlights as I go. And now they have the jagged edges. They took me forever because I used a small brush, and my brushes, sometimes they would work fine to do it, and other times they just blurred everything. And I think I just have to learn how much pressure to put on a brush that is the right pressure. A lot of painting, I think, is learning what kind of pressure you need to put down when you're pushing the brush onto the paper. So I tend to have either too light of a touch where you hardly see anything, or too firm of a touch. And I need to learn my medium touch where you get like just the right amount. And now I'm trying to make like the veins and the leaves look more like they belong there. Just try to make the leaves look a little bit more like this isn't a realistic painting, but I do want the leaves to look like leaves. I want the rose to look like a rose. And now I'm adding my thorns. I didn't look at, there's no thorns on the reference. I just thought it should have some thorns. And I don't think I put them up high enough or made them big enough. They're just little bumps, but I did want to add some thorns. And next time I will look at a reference instead of just going from my head. Because you think you remember something and you really don't. Or maybe that's just me. But I was happy with my leaf, so now I'm just signing my initials, KS. And pretty soon we're going to go back to normal time. All right. So now we are back to normal time and we're going to compare. That is the first one that I did on my dollar store watercolor paper where you get 30 pages for $1. So that was the first one I did on the left, and the one that we did just right now on the right on the canvas board, also from the dollar store. And you can see I had a hard time with my background on the first one because the paint dried before I could blend it. My friend likes that better. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you like that, please hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really means the world to me. And thank you so much for supporting me. I hope you like this. And most importantly of all, you guys take care and stay safe. Bye for now.